Hey, what's up, everyone? I want to welcome you guys to another episode of Here's What I Think with your host, Charles Tabans, who will discuss everything from current events, economics, politics, and how it all relates to business and life. And today we have a hell of a show in store for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So this is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be an interesting one because it actually relates to me in some kind of way. So, as you guys know, Stephen A. Smith is the face of ESPN. For those of you who follow sports, I'm just going to assume that not everyone watching this show follows sports, but Stephen A. Smith is the face of ESPN. He's on the way to becoming probably their highest paid analyst ever. I think he's about to sign a $120 million deal over 5 years, according to reports. I don't know if it's true. That's what I'm hearing. Nevertheless, he's the biggest face at the network. But Stephen A. Smith has always said for years that he doesn't want to be pigeonholed and viewed as only a sports commentator, that he has other interests. And one of those interests is in politics. Right? That he has an interest to talk politics. Hell, he's even expressed an interest to run for president, right? But he's always said he wants to talk politics. So when he started his show, independent of ESPN, called the Stephen A. Smith Show, no one was surprised that he was broaching some of these political issues and issues that were affecting people from a societal level. So Stephen A. Smith, if you listen to him, he always maintains that, look, I am a registered independent. But some people feel like Stephen A. Smith is straddling the fence. And a lot of people, as of late, feel that Stephen A. Smith is leaning more MAGA than he is leaning to the left. And he just needs to come out there and say what he thinks and stop straddling the fence. So what happened? Less than 24 hours ago, Stephen A. Smith then releases a show where he's going at critics of his who say that he needs to choose sides and stop being so pro-Republican. And if you are going to be a Republican, come out and say it. So for those of you who didn't hear what Stephen A. Smith had to say to some of these critics, want to play what he had to say for you now, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here.
I believe that Donald Trump has been a divisive figure. And I was thinking coming into this election that the last thing we needed was 4 more years of what we saw the last time, where there was so much strife and so much division that even though the economy clearly was doing well under his watch before COVID struck, it was just too much for the country to take. I was fearful of civil war in this country. It wasn't so much that he was supportive of white supremacists and he was this racist and all of this stuff like people were saying. I didn't engage in that incendiary rhetoric because I've always believed that Donald Trump was just somebody who did things that were politically expedient. If supporting one side was going to generate votes for him, he would flow with it. And if it was not going to support his cause, he wasn't. It's just simple. It's just that simple. Why did I say that? And why did I refrain from that incendiary rhetoric that was thrown in his direction? It was because I knew Donald Trump before he ran for president. And black, whites, male, females, and everybody in between got along with him great. So for all of a sudden, everybody to stand up and act like he was this pariah was BS. But I was also acknowledging he didn't help his own cause. From the moment in 2015 when he strolled down those escalators with Melania, the man offended 50% of the population back then in 2015. Came across as xenophobic in the eyes of many. And it just seemed to go downhill from there. So after he served his 4 years in the White House, I didn't want a repeat of all of that. But I didn't call him a racist. I didn't compare him to Nazis. I didn't sit up there and accuse him of befriending white supremacists and all of that stuff because I knew no matter what people believed, they were trying to politicize it. So when I thought about him against Kamala Harris, I said, excuse me, let me make sure Republicans are in the House and the Senate. You have somebody that's going to work with both sides in the White House and we'll have peace domestically. That's what I was thinking. But under no circumstances was I this raving supporter of Kamala Harris. I saw her during the primaries in 2020. I saw that she couldn't get to Iowa. I saw her comments about transgenders, particularly those in prison that wanted sex changes. I saw how incoherent she appeared in communicating what her objective would be when it came to the economy. I know for a fact that she was supposed to oversee the issues involving the border. Yes, like Roland Martin said, she wasn't the quote-unquote border czar, but she was perceived as such. I also saw her go on The View and categorically deny that there was any need to change anything that Biden had done, even though over 12 million people crossed the border illegally, and you were acting like there was no border crisis. I saw the duplicitous tendencies. I saw the inconsistencies. I also saw the hypocrisy. And as the election came about and ultimately unfolded, and I saw Donald Trump win convincingly. No, he did not get 50% of the popular vote, as the Democrats are so quick to point out. My attitude to them is shut the hell up. Nobody wants to hear that now. Who cares whether he got 50% of the vote or not? He beat you in the popular vote and the Electoral College vote. He swept the swing states. He improved his numbers in every demographic imaginable. Blacks, Hispanics, women. He beat you. And the American people spoke, and they spoke flagrantly. And from that moment forward, I'm like, damn all of that. We're going to support the fact that he won the presidency. And I'm going to tell you where I'm at with it. And that doesn't mean I'm going to become some registered Republican, because I still find them a bit shaky. But when I see Attorney Bragg in New York trying to convince the judge and the courts to treat Donald Trump as if he's deceased, as if he has died, just to make sure that your convictions on those 34 felony accounts remains a part of the record, it just shows another level of patheticness, if that is such a word, that creeps in. Once again, you can't let it go.
So you heard his thoughts. What are my thoughts on this? I think this is pretty interesting, and I'm going to tell you why. As you guys know, we talk politics on Dreamers Pro when we talk about, we talk basketball on Dreamers Pro. And I said that I don't really want to talk politics there because it's not the forum. People are there for the sports. That's how we marketed the show for 5-6 years. So I think it would be unfair to them to all of a sudden start talking about politics when that's not what they signed up for. So we said, you know what? We're going to talk about politics. I have an interest in some of these larger societal issues, economics and all of that, business, current events. I said, let's create another channel, just so we don't piss off people over there who are maybe not coming to our show for politics. Fantastic. But in the process of creating this channel, the question now becomes, what are the views you're going to take? And number two, are you going to have the chutzpah, the courage, the impetus to take these views? And for me, it was a little bit difficult at the beginning. I'm going to tell you why. The reason is because one of the reasons I decided not to discuss politics in general was because of how polarizing and divisive it could be. Politics and the religion, those are the two most divisive things that we got going. So I said to myself, do I really want to go down that road? But as time went on, Mark and I discussed, who's the co-founder of Dreamers Pro, we're collaborating on this project here as well. He's like, look, man, what works for Dreamers Pro is that you have strong views. You can't be PC all the time. You got to have strong views, right? People need to know where you stand. And once that started to click with me and I started to talk about various things, hell, like the Jay-Z thing. Some people want me to feel a particular way about that. I'm like, no, I'm going to say exactly what I feel. It gave me the freedom. Now, where do I land politically? It's an interesting thing, right? I believe myself to be more center-right, although there's some Democratic precincts that I agree with. There's some right conservative precincts that I will 100% agree with. Me recently becoming a parent this year made me kind of lean even more right when we're thinking about family and conservatism and all of that. But that doesn't mean I agree with every single thing on the right. But to me, what I'm learning is, even if there are people that watch our show that may be on the right, and I say something that may offend them, I can't be worried about that. Because the fact of the matter is, you're never going to please anyone. Everyone. You can't please everybody. You could be on the right and say something and piss off the left. You could be on the left and say something. So you just gotta say what you believe, and let the chips fall where they may. That's just the reality of it. And I think Stephen A. Smith is struggling with it. Now, if you read the comments under that video we just referenced, people in the comments are like, Stephen A. Smith, come on home, man. Come on to the right, man. It's okay. Like, people are like, I think people feel like he's slowly shifting it. Even Patrick Bet-David has been kind of he's been hinting at the fact that I think Stephen A. Smith really wants to lean right more, but he's afraid of the backlash and blah, 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 blah. And there could be some truth to that. If Stephen A. Smith wants to be a Republican, go ahead. Are you going to piss off people on the left? Yes, but that's life. That's life. That's your view. And you have enough money to not be afraid of this. Just make sure you sign that $120 million check first before you jump out the window. But I'm joking, but I'm not. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about the analysis today, whatever you guys think. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.